host, Edward Anderson. Shout out to people in the Discord. Shout out to people in Discord. Like I said, man, in my Discord, you know, I just want to make it very clear here. I'm obviously pro-black. I'm obviously black, but but understand that my Discord is about more than just quote unquote pro-blackness. And a lot of folks be going extra hard on that shit. And people need to understand, you know, I remember the first time I responded to it, somebody gave me people that agree with it. Just understand something, and I want to be clear, it is my Discord at the end of the day. So if I say something, it's a dictatorship. So this kind of posture that sometimes people like to have, like they want to fall on the sword for being pro-black. Most of y'all ain't more pro-black than I am. And most of y'all ain't done more for black people than I've done. So a lot of that is just bullshit ass posture for no reason. That's not really what this video is about, but I just wanted to put that out there because, you know, I've had people that they really be acting like they about to jump out the window over a post, and it ain't that serious. It ain't. It really ain't. And my vantage point is bigger than other people's vantage point. As far as what I'm seeing and what also people have communicated to me. So if I say something, there's a reason. That being said, we're going to talk about corny bitches and corny females. This is a topic that nobody really wants to talk about because this is one of these topics that doesn't really make women make money because it doesn't appeal to the women. This is the thing you have to understand about the quote-unquote manosphere. The quote-unquote manosphere, if you're trying to make money, you generally got to appeal to the white boys, which means you got to comb, or you got to appeal to the women, meaning you're not in the manosphere. Obviously, you position yourself as anti-manosphere, which is you're doing that to appeal to the females in order to get money. Either way, you a hoe ass motherfucker. Just either side that you pick one. Are there more balanced approaches? Sure. Shout out to Darius M. Shout out to Jada Black. There's definitely, shout out to Ticket TV. There's different approaches. There's different approaches. But corny, but like real talk, there is such a thing as like black, because women have built-in value, because men want to fuck, obviously. Corniness is a little bit different from men to women. Because let's be very clear here. Corniness and sexual attractiveness don't really go hand in hand for men. If a man is a desirable male sexually, he could have nothing going on for himself. And in this matriarchal kind of situation that we have, which I just heard Richard Cooper talk about the matriarchy as a white man, which is kind of crazy, right? Women are in casual sex culture. Women are having sex with men, just straight up on sexual value. It really doesn't matter. Women actually see women try to act like men in a sense where women will look at a dude differently for relationship than for just a casual encounter. And this is what these dumbass chicks don't understand. You are asked, like, if I was on the whatever show, I would ask a woman very simply, do you separate men? Do you separate men that are sexual partners from men that are marriage material? Do you see a dichotomy in that? They'll say yes. Okay, give me like 2 examples of like a guy that you would sleep with, but you would not have a kid. Like, it ain't got to be racial or nothing crazy like that. Just what, like traits. This. Cool. Great. So you understand the difference. We've established that. Great. Okay. You do realize you are asking more of a man to be in a relationship with you than to sleep with you. So let's take the guy, the bad boy you would sleep with. You do realize if you were to get in a relationship with him, you're asking more of him. You do understand that, right? Because this is for the women that try to act like the relationship guys are the better guys, even though they're giving more. Like, you do realize that, right? You are giving your body to a bad boy, which is fine, but he's being required to do less. The man has to do more. It's like leasing a car versus buying a car. It is the same thing. It's like renting a house versus buying a house. But you don't get equity. You don't get equity in a bitch. You don't. You don't. If you deal with a chick that's 30 years old, she is not what her potential would have been in her 20s. Like straight up. 40, same thing with 30. What you know doesn't fucking matter. What you think you know, how much you think you've grown. All these bitches think they're like wise little snowflakes. This is not no Jedi or some shit where you get stronger with age. It does not work that way. Claudia Jordan at her age now is nothing compared to Claudia Jordan at 30, 35, let alone 30, let alone 25. What the fuck are we talking about? How many models do you see in their fucking 50? What are we talking about? Right? So my point is, it's not even about morality. It's a lot of these chicks don't understand your sexual marketplace value is there at a baseline because men have testosterone, and testosterone compels us to want to have sex. This is why dudes that when they get to a certain age and that testosterone is not as strong, your influence over men is weaker. Which is also one of the reasons why a lot of these chicks trip over age gaps, because a dude that is in like 30 to 40 is not, yeah, he may want a younger chick, but he's not as goofy about it as a dude that's younger because testosterone is compelling him more. And so, yeah, it's not even about age. It's really that dynamic. And that's what women aren't talking about. So what happened? So my point is, the thing that really had me bring up the corny female type was a couple of things. Jasmine Crockett, because she cosplays as a hood chick. She does not come from that background. I believe Jasmine Crockett went to a private school. She does not come from that background. She is not a hood bitch. Her parents, I don't think, are hood people. You look at this Jada Waiter bitch that Jada Black is talking about, Lil Baby's baby mama, that bitch comes from the burbs. It's a lot of these chicks that they, Ari Lennox, a lot of these, even though she don't got kids, a lot of these chicks come from the burbs. Even Crystalline Carrison dabbled with hood niggas before she had some kind of event that had her get away from that shit. Some kind of near-death experience, whatever bullshit that, you know, scared the shit out of her from playing that game before she got a kid. Because she would have got caught up, because she got caught up with that other dude, thinking I'm going to have his baby and force him to be with me. That's some corny shit. If you pretend to be a hood chick, if you cosplay as a hood chick because you think that the peak of black womanhood is hood baby mamas black women, bitch, you're corny as fuck. That is some corny ass shit. That is corny as hell. Let me give you an example. If you're a suburban black man and you try to pretend like Malibu's most wanted head ass, you are corny. It is the same thing with the women. And because all these women want the same dudes and they want the same aesthetic, That you got chicks that are pretending like they were there was a female Angry Man did a short on it that she was talking about. She felt bad that she had a 2-parent household. I wish that she literally was talking about, when I was going to high school, I wish I was a single mom like all the other girls. I had a dad. I was so mad at it. Bitch, you're dumb. Bitch, you're dumb. And the thing about it is, these women don't understand. They want to talk about the law of attraction and manifest this shit. They manifest this shit. They don't understand it. They bring this shit into their life. They try to blame the dude. The dude is a manifestation of the dumb shit that you already believe. I've said it before, I'm going to say it again. A woman is a single mother before she ever has a kid. Just ask Lotto about that. A woman is a single mother before she ever has her first child. She's a single mother in the head. I'm not just calling shit corny. No. We're not. I get what you're saying about the matriarch stuff, Swift, but that's not what we're talking about. I'm not just saying anything I don't like. I'm calling it corny. That's not what I'm doing here. I'm calling out how certain things, like for example, because there's actually a real definition here. This is not just me saying anything I don't like, I'm just gonna call it corny. That's not what I'm doing. When you try, if a black dude was raised, like take an SWP, he was raised in the suburbs and he tries to be on some yo shit, even though that's not who he is. I'm not saying he's gotta act white, but he tries to go like over and beyond with the shit because he's trying to pretend to be black. That is corny. SWP does not do that. SWP likes guns, not because of gang violence, because that's not where he comes from, because he likes guns. Versus, I'll give you an example. John Morant is corny. John Morant tries to cosplay as a hood nigga to the point where he's about to fuck up generational wealth. John Morant had the potential to be one of the faces of the NBA, but because he wants... Zion Williamson is corny. Now they'll say RG3 is corny. RG3 is being who he was. Zion Williamson is dealing with bitches 10 years his senior that's literally like the definition of chopped. Literally with both on ass and shit, because this nigga used to jack off to Bang Bros when he was at Duke or whatever he was doing. Yo man, I'm gonna be an NBA player. What's the first thing you do? I'm gonna get me a porn bitch from Bang Bros, nigga. That sounds corny as fuck, doesn't it? That's his fantasy. You're corny. I could low-key argue Lonzo, the youngest ball brother, getting with a 12-year older bitch that's on the latter end of her of his shit is corny. But whatever. Well, I'll let that slide. So yeah, but it's corny when you sit here and y'all turn yourselves into baby mamas because y'all are with niggas like Lil Baby ain't even hitting like that. And your only claim to fame is who you fucked, bitch. You're corny. A lot of y'all are fucking corny and you don't know it. You chicks come from the burbs with 2-parent households and you all are hustling backwards. And this just goes to show you how strong that Keisha culture is. Why should people work hard to give you some shit if you just go end up there anyway? I might as well make you an authentic rat. If you just gonna walk like a rat, talk like a rat, and act like a rat, well shit, bitch, you need the authentic rat experience. Laura London is corny as hell. And I'm gonna tell you how corny she is. She got with a nigga that actually wanted to do better, and she thought he was corny for wanting to do better. She got with him for being a gangbanger, not because he actually wanted to do better by it for himself. And she literally brought that up. That's corny as hell. I can argue getting a white black bitch is corny. But we don't call that corny. We don't call that corny. To the point where you got motherfuckers cosplaying as hood black women because that's how they see you. They see you. That's why they acting like that. Like when you look at black women from the 90s versus black women from today, city girls, all of that. I mean, you know, people asking me about the fucking spring break shit in Houston, Daytona Beach. Yeah, that shit's corny. A bunch of wild animals. And I'm gonna say it just like that. A bunch of heathens. And they think that shit is cute. And that shit is cute until they start locking y'all asses up. Now y'all go, oh, they being racist. Oh my God. That shit is goofy as hell. Y'all get out there like spring break on some heathenistic shit. Like for real, y'all can't sit your ass down. Like a lot of y'all got low class and y'all think that shit is cute. That shit is not cute. It really isn't. I'm telling you right now, y'all going outside with a bonnet is corny as fuck. Yeah, I mean, you literally got bitches that they want to be a single mother when they grow up. Chicks that'll sit here. I mean, Lotto is corny as hell. Let's just keep it real. Lotto, first of all, Lotto named herself Lotto is biracial. Then she named herself Mulatto, which is really her flexing on black women. That's her saying she's better than you because she's biracial, which is why she had to shorten the name, because a lot of black women were low-key picking up on that, and the black women don't fuck with you, you don't have a career in female hip-hop. And so she sat here and got with a nigga like 21. I mean, look, it is, I ain't gonna shit on 21 Savage, but you decided to be his third baby mama. But why talk about your coochie is worth so much? Press 1 if y'all can hear me. Press 1 if y'all can hear me. Okay. So a lot of times, you know, it's like these women think this shit they do isn't corny. Like, truth be told, y'all having like long eyelashes, it's fucking corny. It really is. This y'all being obsessed with edges is fucking corny. It's a lot of shit. Personality wise, it's a lot of shit black women do that's corny as hell. Niggas don't care because the mission is to fuck. They do date the same men. And then they complain about the same shit. It's corny as fuck. It's a lot of things, but, and truth be told, black men are not gonna black men are not just gonna come out here and say it's corny. Black men are just gonna move in a different way. Like, women really be out here, you know, when that shit, I'm glad I don't see that no more, that ick shit. It's a lot of shit women do. A lot. Look, Do you know what the definition of corny is? You know the term that's typically used to show a chick is corny? Bird. When you're being called a bird, you're basically being called corny. And a bimbo. And a lot of these chicks are birds. He can go at Coach Greg Adams. What can Tony Gaskins say? Really? Oh man, Coach Greg Adams is not Christian. He's not living a Christian way. Oh, that's beyond corny. That's just niggerish. So since you want to say what is Tony Gaskins saying about Coach Greg Adams? Enlighten the class. Okay, put it on Discord. Have you watched the video? I mean, truth be told, Tony Gaskins I would take Coach Greg Adams over Tony Gaskins in the debate. Because the truth is, Tony Gaskins, the problem is with Tony Gaskins is on some, if you a good man and you a Christian man, nah, nigga, what you don't take into account is the thing that Tony Gaskins tries to play games about is, nigga, these bitches, like, nigga, you are women want you sexually. So you keep trying to put Christianity on it, when in reality, that's the default. That's why people watch you. Like, he wouldn't be as big if motherfuckers couldn't see what he looks like. So he tries to play this game like, yeah, I'm just a good man. No, bitch, nigga, shut the fuck up. He's like 6'3" or something. Like, nigga, bitches want you. That's what that is. And that's fine. But don't try to act like it's the other shit. Don't act like that's what it is. That's not what it is. So the shit you're selling to other men is fundamentally bullshit because other men don't look like him. And it is what it is. Okay, well, you haven't finished the video. I'm just asking, give me some points that he tried to say. That's all. That's all it is. Gaskins is that's all it is. Like, dude, basically all the bullshit he talked, like what he said, because he's not the worst of the worst. He's not at the top of my list of like dudes that need to be dealt with. Like, he really isn't. Honestly, there's some truth to some stuff he says. So he's like not on the list. There's a whole bunch of people you got to deal with before like he becomes like somebody I would really look at. There's a whole he's not the worst. He's not the worst of the worst. And like straight up, he's not. There's other people. And truth be told, people like him, I know why people watch, like why women watch him. They watch him because they like how he looks. It doesn't matter what he's saying. It really is because how they like how he looks. And he tries to frame that in a way that if men just acted like he acts. No, you get your results because of how you look. It has nothing to do with anything you're talking about. That's it. So everything he's saying is really just bullshit wrapped around a certain brand. That's all that is. That's another, exactly. A reformed fuckboy and a former drug dealer. So Tony Gaskins can't tell me shit. And quite frankly, Tony Gaskins can't tell Coach Greg Adams shit. Nigga, no matter what, nigga, you might as well, you a drug dealer. What the fuck you gonna tell me, nigga? You found, nigga, fuck you, fine. Oh God, nigga, fuck you. You ain't no different than Mace. Okay, so what did Coach Greg Adams actually throw an adult temper tantrum, or was he just throwing sign language out there like a bitch? So Tony Gaskins is like over 6 foot. He used to be a drug dealer. He's got eyes like mine. No, like, I don't want to hear nothing he got to say about God. Like, straight up, I just don't. I don't want to hear nothing he say about God. Ain't nobody looking at you because of God. They're looking at you because, again, same thing with, so I heard about that, but I didn't know that was confirmed. It's the same thing with Ace Metaphor. These are former, notice how all these niggas are former fuck niggas. Bad guy turn good. No, this is who you are. That's why they like you. CGA gets hate because a lot of people be thinking CGA be taking people's shit. But that's not I mean, it's not hard to cook boys, so it doesn't matter. So exactly. So what is he talking about? Like, nigga, why are you, like, again, basically bitches are motherfuckers are bitching at him for his content, and Coach Greg Adams got a big enough following for Tony Gaskins to throw some shit out there at him because he got a big enough following. It's just YouTube entertainment. Nigga ain't serious. And a lot of these bitches, again, these bitches are wasting their time having parasocial relationships with niggas that basically is selling them bullshit, and then they get mad. That's why I'll be like, hey, you signed up to be lied to. I told you. These bitches want to be lied to. They want emotional dope. Emotional dope dealing. Tony Gaskins is definitely an emotional dope dealer, though. And that's what I would call him to his face. Your dope is fake ass Christianity. And I would tell Tony Gaskins' face, you ain't no real Christian. Because if you was a real Christian, you wouldn't be getting on here lying to these people like that. You would be compelled to spread truth. He thinks he spreads truth, but whatever. But I'll leave Tony Gaskins obsidian. Yeah, they're tapping out. Not really. He ain't trying to get views. I mean, he has his own platform. He has his own following. But some content's got a content. And sometimes you gotta do something different. He don't need, he has his own shit. Like, I'm not gonna act like he ain't got his own horde of bitches that want to, watch him. I've seen at least some of his numbers, like, in passing. He don't need nobody. He occupies that Christian space, that April Mason bullshit space. He the type of nigga April Mason would try to talk to and lie to other dudes with. But Coach Greg Adams would, because the problem is, like Coach Greg Adams has been married. He was a coach. He's had to coach men. So you can't throw the same red pill shit at him that you can throw at other people. That's not gonna work. So you actually have to deal with the argument. Otherwise, you'll look dumb. Because if Coach Greg Adams call him a dude, yeah, man, but I repented. Man, get the fuck out of here. Talking about you repenting. You out here, you still selling drugs. You just selling it online. You just emotionally dope dealing. Lying to these bitches, man. Could you imagine if they debated and Coach Greg Adams, like I emailed Coach Greg Adams, I said, call that nigga emotional dope dealer and see what he do. Hey, you can have it. Say you came up with it. I don't give a fuck. I just want that out there. Like, you just emotionally dope dealing. Like, I bet you Tony Gaskins like, nigga, what you say to me? Oh, I'm a nigga now. How Christian of you. I bet you Tony would get mad as fuck. I bet you he would get mad as hell. Yeah, that's the same bullshit April Mason used to push. That's the same bullshit April Mason used to push. I call that benevolent matriarchy. That's what that is. That benevolent matriarchy. That I lead from the back. Except for niggas like Tony Gaskins, because you know they that nigga, right? But whatever. These red pill guys, I'm like, you know. I mean, the church is a big matriarchy anyway. Once you understand that, like, a lot of what that happens makes sense. Church is matriarchal. Church was like the original matriarchy. It's like an organized matriarchy. Yeah. I mean, I don't really want to hear. I really prefer not to hear him. If he ain't saying nothing for real, he ain't really putting no points out there. Yeah, man, he a grown boy. I mean, this nigga older than you, man. Shut your dope dealing ass up. How you talk about he a grown boy? Coach Greg Adams is usually very calm and collected. So you can't talk to him like a man. You got it, man. Shut your fucking... I used to sell drugs and then I felt good. Well, nigga, I didn't need to do bad shit to define God. One, just like these hoes. They think they could do what they want to do and then rebrand. Like, I'm sorry, man. See, when you repenting is supposed to go through a process, because it's not so, like, niggas love to rebrand with Christ. He said, don't delete TikTok. You can't get it back. What are you talking about? Ain't no pause. That is what it is. When a woman said, I mean, I get where you're coming from with it, and that's actually a great metaphor too. But a lot of these women, what do you think they mean when they say security boss used to be on that shit? You know, when I let a man lead, you don't let a man. Let me give you a perfect example. If you were to get with a white man, would you consider that letting him lead? No, he has the power dynamic, or you're going to be removed. You don't let a man lead. You don't let your boss tell you what to do. You want the fucking job or you don't. The church, yeah. Because even when the women, because think about it, even when the women bitch about, see, the reason why people don't think of the church as a matriarchy, and I've said this before, by the way, years ago. The reason why is because you see a pastor at the top. But most matriarchies, see, this is the difference between a gynocracy and a matriarchy. In a matriarchy, the men are still, a lot of the men still occupy the top positions, but they serve at the pleasure of the president. The pleasure of the president in this case would be like the group of women. So like a nigga like Tony Gaskins or fucking Derek Jackson or Ace Metaphor, their job would be to get other men in line. That would be their role. Just like the black fucking church, the bishops, yeah, that, see? So, but if you look at the power behind that, especially now, but that was true even back to a certain extent, that's a matriarchy. So y'all confuse a matriarchy with gynocracy. That is the definition. That, like, so the black church has always been matriarch. Shit, you see that in the Nation of Islam. You see that in the Nation of Islam. Just because men are at the forefront doesn't mean men have the actual power. Hell, you low-key see that in the white community now. And usually you got a couple of men at the top that are designed to like get the other men to get in line. But yeah, when they say let a man lead, that's what they mean. That's that driving Miss Daisy. She in the back telling you what to do. That's why I say there's no permission-based leadership. Nigga, this is why when niggas keep on wanting to get a woman's buy-in, you're not supposed to get a woman's buy-in. You're supposed to take action. Y'all want to get a woman's buy-in. This is why people keep circling back to these conversations. Y'all want to get their buy-in. Y'all want to get their buy-in. I don't need their buy-in. Yeah. Which is why a lot of niggas ain't in the church no more. Because the reality is niggas in the church for jobs and economics and networking. If that ain't there, niggas didn't have no reason to be in the church. Which is why you think the women stayed. Now, you heard women bitching about the church. When women are bitching about the church, what they're really bitching about is the shame that black women put on them in the church. It's not really the pastor. And when the pastor does say something, I'm talking back in the day where they used to say the church was really bad, that was really the standards that the women compelled the other women to adhere to. That's what they're really complaining about. People just assume it was the pastors. No, the pastors had the backing of the women. But the reality is it was the women that mainly shamed other women. That's why one of the first things these women got rid of is the elder women, because the elder women, and this is where black men fail to really protect a lot of the elder women. See, black men be thinking that they be protecting these bitches when they try to keep the peace, when in actuality, you basically are validating their crash out. The difference between the small hats is the small hats have an agreement. They have an agreement that works for both gender roles and works for both parties. But ultimately, the men have the control. The men have the control. The small hats essentially have like a 60-40 relationship. But the men still have 60% of the power. The money still flows through the men. It's just they have a 60-40 thing going. That's what they have, and it works for them. But the problem is, our women want princess treatment. Our women want princess treatment, but they want to act like they doing everything. Because at the end of the day, the issue with our women is they don't want to be black. That's the issue with our women. They want a different status other than blackness. And when you understand that, then everything makes sense. What they do, everything makes sense. When you understand that dynamic, everything they do makes sense at that point. Their defiance, their constant need to compete with black men. These motherfuckers want to evolve. They like fucking Pokemon. They like fucking Pokemon. They want to evolve into some kind of biracial. I won't say all that. I won't give them that much credit. The reality is they both were on the same page about trying to go white. So it is what it is. So, I mean, I'm not even, they're smarter. Nah, there's a reason. And plus, they were under threat, but they still went white. See, they doing, because their thing is a religion. And then we got to talk about who's the real people versus the fake people. So it's a different dynamic. So I ain't going to go too deep into that. But, yeah. But anyway, y'all, that's me talking my shit for the day. Don't even get me started about that bonnets and do-rag shit. That's some corny shit. You got some corny ass parents. Bonnets and do-rags at an interview. That shit is fucking retarded. Yeah, they want to evolve into something biracial. Like a fucking Pokemon card. Could you imagine? Could you imagine if I did a fucking AI with them evolving like a Pokemon card, like a Pokemon, they that white light, and then they're like, yeah, wow. I mean, yeah, like when you look at some of the shit they be talking about, don't even get me started on that. But at the end of the day, that's not our problem. I will say what I did pay attention to is all the countries that voted against that reparations acknowledgement. And people want to say, oh man, well, you don't know what they were really, nah. First of all, that resolution was exactly that, a resolution. So I don't want to hear all that. You know. Oh yeah, but that's something black women have always been doing. When black women talk about I got Indian in me and all of that, this is a way for them to try to be biracial, try to finesse their way into being biracial. Any bitch that's somewhat attractive would sit here and say, I got Indian in me. That's some corny ass shit too, by the way. Especially if you don't. I got Indian in me. Like that used to be some of the corniest shit to me. You know, like when people would lean. I'm not saying if you really got Indian in you, fine. But I knew a lot of them bitches were lying. I got Indian in me. Or how women will be, I'm mixed with this bitch be 1% something. I'm mixed with this. Even my younger brother, I remember, I'll never forget. I told my youngest brother it was some video, and I said, because he does like, in IRL content, in real life content. I said, you should ask these black chicks, like, do you see Asian, because his grandmother is Japanese. His grandmother is straight up Japanese. So his dad is actually mixed. And his grandmother is straight up Japanese. But you don't really see it like that with him, right? Maybe a little bit of hair and stuff, but not really. And I was like, you should ask people that, on the street. He thought that shit was corny as hell. And he legit is a quarter. But he don't talk about that. I got Indian in me. And these bitches be so confident when they say that shit. I'm mixed with this. I'm like, just shut the fuck up. Oh, get the fuck out of here. So I don't need to see no video like that. If he gonna be doing that kind of shit. If you gonna be like you calling a 50-year-old man, that's how I know you ain't got no argument. It's not cute. It's corny as hell. Trying to play like you another group of women shows lack of self-esteem. Notice how you don't notice how they keep trying to say that we try to act white, but we don't be trying to, people try to be us. People copy us. Like straight up. Who you think, like those, the K-pop don't be copying the women. K-pop ain't copying Destiny's Child. K-pop is copying the Jackson 5. K-pop is copying New Edition. Ain't no group copy Destiny's Child. I'm not saying they're a good group. Ain't no group copying In Vogue. I'm not saying these are not good groups. I'm just saying ain't nobody copying them. They're copying what we do. That is some of the most corniest shit in the world. And that shows an absolute lack of self-esteem. That is actually some real sad and pathetic shit. To sit here, that just shows you how much they, like I told you, they don't want to be black. All these foreign black women trying to pretend to be African American women. Or when I say pretend, I mean mimic. And they sitting here trying to pretend to be other that's sad, especially when you add in the weaving shit, or the blind weaving shit. Yo, that's also the epitome of pick me behavior. I thought about this a long time ago. How could blacks and Native Americans procreate when one group was on a plantation, another group was on a reservation? What they want to say is, I appreciate the $10. What they want to say is a lot of folks got reclassified, which I'm not going to say that never happened. I'm not going to say that because I definitely put that on white people to do that. Like, we know every Indian, you got to remember, man, a lot of, when you look at the Incas, the Aztecs, and all these tribes, everybody didn't die from the flu. It just killed most folks. The scourge virus, it didn't kill them all. So you got a lot, like mestizos are natives mixed in with a little bit of white, little bit of black. Mestizos in like Mexico and Latin America. You got blancos, which they're mainly like at least what 80% white, 90% white, basically white. Then you got the mestizos, which are like the coloreds, which is why Tyler had an issue here. And then you got the ones that they're more black. So a lot of people got reclassified. Like Creoles got reclassified. They tried to reclassify Creoles, and Creoles didn't want to be black or white. Because Creoles had more money than most white people. Because people forget, most white people were poor. Like, we look at white people today, we look at white people through the lens of the top 10%. Most white people are not the top 10% or the top 20% of white people. They're not. But we see that because it's almost like niggas don't know what redneck white people look like, or like West Virginia white people look like. It's like y'all ain't never seen that. No, I don't believe. Yeah, that shit. These bitches be lying. That's why everybody always talk about they got that Indian shit from their mom. Mama said, grandmama said. Of course, grandmama said. Because you got to remember. See, that's why a lot of these chicks had an issue with Sinners, and they had an issue with Haley Steinfeld's character. But you had a lot of women that were that white passing. I think fucking you had a lot of women that were like motherfuckers don't know what white passing, especially when you look at the one drop rule. Cause see, you don't have that in area, like the one drop rule is very unique to the United States. There is no one drop rule nowhere. It doesn't work that way anywhere else. That only works here. That's unique here. So most people, if you approach that would be a separate group. But see, what the United States did is they just brought in immigrants, and then they could indoctrinate them into whiteness as they saw fit. That's low key what a lot of Mexicans, Hispanics think is gonna happen. That's why they do what they do. Well, Clutch, you know, they not going to do that. They not going to end the one drop rule. Because they think the one drop rule is a slippery slope. They think you end the one drop rule. The problem is you end they see ending the one drop rule as an existential threat. And here's the thing. Black people don't really have an incentive to want to end it. So black people don't have an incentive to want to push for it. And white people don't want to end it. Even Brandon Tatum basically said that when he told them white people to his face, my biracial kid is not black. He had a lot of balls. He said that to his face in person, to their face in person. He had a lot of balls doing that. But they not go. So both parties aren't really incentivized to do that. Like for instance, black women don't really want to let go of light skinned women. Black women do not want light skinned women to be seen as a different racial classification. And if black women don't want it, black men are not really compelled to do that either. I'm not saying you're not right. I'm just saying what the dynamics are. And they've already made a decision. A buffer class is going to be a combination of women and immigrants. That's how they choose to do it because they can control that more. Because they can always send these people back. Yeah, and a lot of that is for some real petty reasons. Like I said before, a lot of these niggas think a lot of Africans are ugly, and so that's that 80s shit. That's that 80s shit, and see, that's a slippery slope because see, in the 80s is when light skinned niggas was in. That's when that shit, when motherfuckers was hella colorist and shit like that. And I'm talking about the women. The women were like that. I mean, it is what it is. No, I mean, yeah, but they do it in their own way. They do it in their own way. See, the problem is America is not in enough conflicts that would force us to be killed. America does it like what Argentina essentially did was put people in wars and kill them based on wars. In America, if you do that, you're going to train too many of the black people. And they don't want to do that. They don't want to do that. That can backfire. So they're not going to do it that way. They try to do it in more long-term, subtle ways. I mean, I expected of course, the United States was going to vote against reparations. But see, that's not the point. Like, and yeah, if you want to live overseas, absolutely do that. I support that. We need like forward operating people to do that, and those people should be supported. But I never would have expected the United States. Number one, is making the United States look bad. And number two is Africans doing it. But even if it was a Chinese doing it, the fact that Ghana even had the balls to do that, it doesn't matter what their intentions were. Because you gotta remember, Ghana is in West Africa, as we all know. Ghana, Nigeria, and them sided with the United States. The fact that he even had the balls to do that, because see what he does, this is what this does do. This legitimizes, like everybody, like people have been spending all this time trying to, I mean, obviously the media is not going to cover it because they don't want to give it any validity here. But the fact that they did that legitimate, that's actually I ain't even saying the dude Ghana give a fuck about black Americans. But even though Ghana does have the most black Americans in his country. But what that essentially does is legitimizes our fight for reparations in a global stage. So when I tell you about crimes against humanity, and I tell you about the 4 crimes against humanity, slavery, Jim Crow, mass incarceration, and the crack era, this essentially establishes slavery is the worst. Slave trade is the worst crime against humanity. Of course, the UK is going to abstain from it because the UK is one of the ones that started it. So for every other country to kind of vote on that means, yeah, the quote unquote because keep in mind, a lot of these countries have anti-blackness in them. But the fact that they did that establishes A, they know what it is, and B, they recognize what it's done. That legitimizes it, and then reparations is that on top of that legitimizes it. And so, as in a way that really reverses what they've been doing, which is trying to delegitimize that argument. So now, if you're a tether and you're out here talking about you shouldn't get reparations, well, I'm be like, your own fucking country basically said otherwise. And you put them in a position where they got to shit on their own country. They look hella stupid getting on airwaves talking about why you shouldn't get reparations when your own home country has said that this was a bad thing. So I don't take it any further than that. And I actually think that does a lot. That does a lot, even with black people, because black people be on some, man, I don't think it's legit. Yes, it is. It also tells you these motherfuckers be knowing what slavery is, and they be acting like they don't know. I'm not saying you have to have all of that, but the thing, well, it's already documented. It's already documented. Crack is on us, but it's already documented that the cocaine that you did to rock crack up was brought here with the Contras by Reagan. That's already been documented. So no, we did not bring drugs here. We didn't bring the drugs in. They targeted the black communities. And in mass incarceration, there was more black men in prison at one point than women on the planet. It's already been documented, like even the way they deal with fentanyl, which is literally the same thing. The way they deal with fentanyl is very different than how they dealt with mass incarceration. It's very different. It's very different. Yeah, that's what it is. I mean, there's a book. It's called Dark Messenger or Kill the Messenger. It's a movie and a book. Maxine Waters is still alive. She's the one that brought it to Congress. Mass incarceration was essentially a cover-up. That's basically what happened. And it was a whole system. It's just because it's not talked about doesn't mean it didn't happen. And you can look at how they're dealing with fentanyl. Giving them Narcan, open air things. Here's the problem, though. The problem, though, is you leave these white people out here, they're more likely to die. At least if they were in jail, a lot of those dudes that were on drugs were stabilized and had access to health care. Out here, that Narcan just stops them from ODing. That doesn't mean they're not going to do it again and again and again, and that's not fucking their bodies up. Yeah, it was a UN vote. It was a resolution to declare that the transatlantic slave trade was the worst crime against humanity to ever happen, and a call for reparations, the reparations for the people that was affected by it. And everybody voted for it. It's 123 countries voted for it. Israel voted against it. Argentina voted against it. And I could be open to Israel voting against it because Israel think their thing was the biggest crime against humanity. On top of the U.S. thing. And the U.S. voted against it. And the U.K. abstained from it. The UK abstained from voting, but Israel voted against it. I can see why the UK would abstain from voting because they kind of one of the ones that came up with it. I'm not saying. I'm just saying if I'm having an argument with somebody, that's what somebody's gonna bring it up. Personally, I think Israel don't believe that. Well, yeah, we know. That's why Olivia Alexa is from Argentina, I believe. And it's interesting how you look damn near whiter than white people, but if she is from Argentina, I believe she is. Okay, the EU. The EU abstain. Now, so it's of course the Europeans did that. Yeah, but the fact that that's even put out there, it legitimizes it in a way that it's not just us talking shit. I'm sure Tariq and them will cover. Tariq will cover it. But most of these countries are scared of the United States to put something out there like that. But it could have been that China obviously backed that. Yeah. Yeah. So a lot of this, to me, it's like taking the temperature of like China and stuff like this. So as far as like how much are they really afraid of the United States and to call that out. That's how I see it. I mean, at the end of the day, my thing is I want the money. So people be on some blame. We know what happened here. So I mean, I'm not, people at the end of the day, you're not getting no money out of them. They ain't got it to give. At best, with Ghana, we're like most African Americans are actually there as far as in the country. So I personally think it's a waste of time. See, I think white people will try to encourage that in order to take the heat off of them. And my thing is, it ain't just about slavery; it's about Jim Crow as well. So that's why sometimes people be like, y'all, do people be head is on a swivel, man. It's like they doing everything. It's like, no, you need to be focused. Like, just like how they sabotage Liberia. That's another thing folks don't want to talk about. But anyway, y'all. Exactly. Yeah, and that's how it is in Rio too. A lot of white worshiping. A lot of white worshiping is in Rio as well. Yeah. Not through the Republican Party, nah. Conservative black men would have to create kind of their own like block. Yeah, it's interesting. We'll see what certain parts of YouTube is going to say about it. I haven't seen Jason Whitlock versus Dan Round. I whatever. To me, that's just some coon fight. Appreciate JD Aesthetic for the $5 cash app. Much appreciated. Yeah. Peace out.